What is your American dream?
My American dream is humility with humanity. What I mean by that is when you walk into a room, realize that the first thing that you have the same is that you will be different. And until you get to know that person and learn about them, make your own decisions.
My American dream will be to, it's time for the new generation to come and pass the torch.
My American dream would be that the U.S. learns community and culture from Mexico and from all of its immigrants, because that is what makes America beautiful.
It's about putting good stories out there. There's so many things that we should be aware of. For me, it would be amazing as an American dream if I could open doors to more women to produce their content.
We are the United States. We're not the divided states. So that's my dream, that everybody can see that. So today, that's why I decided to do this exhibition on a Sunday, which Sundays are family days in Latin America. It's called a Domingo Familiar, so that we can all get together as families, not only to celebrate who we are, but also to help others stay together that cannot be together.
Everyone has a right to the American dream. Welcome, everybody. My name is Spar Bernstein. It is December 12th. We were off the air for 2 days. I am joined. I had to drag them both in. Drag them in.
Basically.
Because it's Christmas time.
And it snowed.
And it's snowing outside.
Wait, what?
It snowed yesterday.
It snowed yesterday. It's snowing in our minds.
Weather conditions.
The weather conditions are a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
But I had to drag them in. Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias and Vanessa Contreras, welcome. How's everything?
Hey, Brad
Great.
Squad.
We're here.
You are here.
Live.
You are here. All right. So I need a minute. Why don't you start saying hello, because I can't see anybody right now.
All right, team. Where are we? I'm on Facebook.
All right. I'm on Facebook now. Okay.
All right.
Hello,
Perfect.
Mia Montauk, Melissa Edwards, Squad Up, Jessica Leamy, Joel Reed, Abhishek Patel has a question. You got to ask it, and we're going to answer it later.
Yep.
Mia Montauk, Squad Up, Dornette Bryant, Squad Up, Latoya, His Forever Peterson. How are you? I want to know who his is, because she has a man.
Oh.
She definitely's got a man, right? Because it's his forever.
We're starting this early, Brad?
We are starting this early. Inquiring minds want to know, does the man watch too? Does his forever watch also?
It could be Jesus. That
Maybe.
Could be
It could be. It could be.
We'll leave it. She leaves it out to our imagination.
It could be. Lolita Platt, Mia Montauk, Dawn Harriet, and on YouTube, Angela Rawlings, Squad Up, Bax Young, on Frida Felix saying hello with a happy face. Simone Garraway saying hello. Guy by the name of Yonathan
Yeah, that's me.
says hello. Why you say? Oh, you said Squad Up.
Yeah, I was about to say, I didn't say
I
hello.
didn't say no hello, right?
No.
We
Squad
just
Up. I was going to say,
tuned
why are
in.
you saying hello? Donald Horton says, what's up 29? They got a thing going.
Yeah,
They got a thing
there's
going.
besties in here
Yeah,
already.
yes.
We're establishing new
That
friendships,
is
Brad.
right. And
Relationships.
Pandra Landell says, good evening from Jamaica. Now, I understand it is possible. I'm going to look right now.
Could maybe so.
It could maybe so. It is possible that we were going live on Instagram, but apparently we're not.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Or we might
Or we may, but I don't see it.
at some point. Well, we're glad we have our squad where they know
We are
exactly
live
where to
on
find
Instagram?
us.
Julie says?
Are we?
Okay, if you say so. I don't see it. Yonathan, Yo-Yo, Elias, Vanessa Contreras, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do, at least on Facebook and YouTube,
Yes.
while we figure everything out.
Yep.
Absolutely. All right, first things first. Everybody on Facebook and on YouTube, I need you guys to join the Brad Squad page on Facebook. It's a Facebook fan page, and you guys get different incentives. So, like, we were off yesterday. Now, the first 5 people that put their questions in on that fan page are going to get the first 5 questions asked during social media check-in today. So you guys get a lot of incentives. And then we also get, we put a lot of content on there that we won't put on our other pages. So it's like a little secret club for you guys, all right? So you guys have to join. Everybody on YouTube and everybody on Facebook will throw the link right in the comment section.
Yep.
Now on Facebook, I need you guys all to start sharing. It's very easy, especially for our newcomers here. I know I see a lot of new people as well. So
Yep.
I need you guys to click that little arrow that says share. And there's different places that I want you guys to share. Now, I want you guys to share to other people's pages, of course. I want you guys to share to an inbox. You can actually make a group in your inbox of friends and family that you think might benefit from the show or just find this show very entertaining. All right, and then I also want you guys to share it in groups. Groups that might have anything to do about international, immigrants, culture, anything like that, because everybody knows somebody that needs help. So I need you guys to share right now, all right? I don't want it to go in one ear and out the other. I need you guys to listen to the words that are coming out of our mouths, all right? I need you guys to share. And of course, we want you guys to show your emotions. So like, love, smiley face, sad face, wow face, mad face,
Whatever they're feeling.
Anything they're feeling. I want you guys to show it on the little emojis, and of course, put all your questions in now. Like I said, yesterday we had no show, so we have a lot of questions, so you guys need to put them in right now. And if you guys don't get to those questions, if we don't get to those questions, it's gonna go all the way back. You guys have to join the Facebook fan page, the Brad Squad fan page, because that is a guarantee that you'll get the first 5 questions asked. Now, what are we gonna do on YouTube?
Alrighty, squad. So you guys already know on YouTube, stop what you're doing, press the red subscribe button.
I have a public service announcement.
And Brad has an announcement.
Congratulations to the entire crew back there. We're live on Instagram.
Hey, round of applause for our crew.
There we go.
Alrighty, squad. So now we're on Instagram too. So
Yes.
if you are on Instagram, make sure that you share our live with some of your Instagram friends. If you are a loyal follower of The Brad Show, you know how much helpful information we give. But back to YouTube. So on YouTube, I need you guys to stop what you're doing and press the subscribe button, because you will be notified whenever we go live, when we do go live. Make sure that you share and comment and let us know what's on your mind. Ask those questions, team. When you ask those questions, our team in the back is gathering them all together for social media check-in, so your questions get answered. Make sure that you share all of our content with everyone that you know, because as we always say on the Brad Squad, you never know who needs some help. And Uncle Brad here has all the info for us.
I do. I was just looking at our Instagram. It's very intriguing to me, Instagram. I don't know why I'm very
It's a new
intrigued
angle.
about this. But now our live video paused. We're actually testing Instagram right now.
Yeah, first day.
It's our first day going live on Instagram, and apparently we don't got all the kinks worked out yet.
Yeah,
But we
it's all
will.
good.
We will. So our live video paused. I wonder if I turn it off and turn it back on. Oh, we're back live again.
Yeah,
All
might be.
right. Why don't everybody go? Let's see if we can break Instagram.
Right.
What do you think?
Brad
You think we
is
can break
feeling
Instagram?
ambitious.
Why not?
Ambitious on a throwback
Let's
Thursday.
break Instagram.
Let's
right?
do it.
Let's do it. So if everybody goes to Instagram, let's see if we can break it.
Right.
Where
So
do we go to Instagram,
But
by
first
the
of all,
way?
you have to know what Instagram handle are we on.
Yep.
I don't know. What Instagram handle? We're at
Brad Show Live.
I do
Okay.
know that.
Brad
All right.
Show Live.
So what I want everybody to do actually in the comment section, throw in your Instagram handles right now. If you have Instagram, throw
Yep.
it in right now. And then actually go follow your friends, of course, all the Brad Squad members. But most importantly, I want you guys all who has that Instagram handle to go to our Instagram and check out the Instagram live and just comment on there.
But I don't know if it's me. You know, and we're doing this live.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's me on my iPad
Could be.
or it's Instagram.
You
or-
already broke the internet,
Or we
Brad.
already broke the internet, but it keeps pausing. So is it me or is it
Could be
everybody
a
else?
tech. Look, you're back. I see the comments rolling up.
It's everybody.
So are there
we gotta
comments
work.
coming
We
up?
gotta work on this a little bit.
gonna see
But
if
we'll
I can
figure
go
it
on
out.
the
But we'll
Instagram.
figure it out. Why don't we get to something we like
Yep.
to call schmoozing
With
with Brad? So another day. More news about impeachment, Vanessa. I know it's your most exciting topic. Vanessa came
The
in.
orange guy is my favorite
Yes.
Oompa Loompa to talk
That's
about.
right. Vanessa came in and she said to me, as we were waiting to go live, Can we please talk more impeachment of Donald Trump? It's just so intriguing.
I can't
to me.
wait.
I can't wait. Please.
So excited.
Please, just give me more Donald Trump, please.
And you fulfilled
And
her.
I
her
said
wishes.
I will
We
fulfill
missed
all
two whole days of no Trump
That is-
talk.
That
That's
is
much
right.
too long.
I said to Vanessa.
Couldn't sleep.
Vanessa, I know you have a boyfriend, but I will fulfill your fantasies about talking more about Donald Trump. So on Tuesday, the House Democratic leaders formally called for Donald Trump's removal from office. In 9 pages, the draft impeachment articles accused Donald Trump of carrying out a scheme to corruptly solicit election assistance from the government of the Ukraine. The first article stated, in all of this, President Trump abused the powers of the presidency by ignoring and injuring national security and other vital national interests. A second article charges that by ordering across-the-board defiance of House subpoenas for testimony and documents related to the Ukraine matter, Trump engaged in unprecedented, categorical, and indiscriminate defiance that harmed the House's constitutional rights. Now, At Real Donald Trump had something to say about this, Vanessa.
Oh,
and he
did he?
says that, and he tweeted, because we only hear from Donald from tweets.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you want to hear what Donald Trump is thinking at 3 a.m, just go to Twitter. Okay, so At Real Donald Trump, he said Nadler, he's talking about Gerald Nadler, who's the head of the Judiciary Committee for the Democrats, just said that I, quote, pressured Ukraine to interfere in our 2020 election. Ridiculous, and he knows that's not true. Both the president and foreign minister of Ukraine said many times there was no pressure. Nadler and the Dems know this, but refuse to acknowledge. And by the way, Donald Trump is true. The president of the Ukraine, President Zelensky, did say he was not pressured at all to investigate Biden's Burisma or Hunter Biden, but you have to put everything in context, and we've talked about this several times. Of course he's going to say that. He could care less about U.S. politics. His priority is Ukraine. Yeah. Russia has invaded part of the Ukraine. They need U.S. military assistance. They need U.S. money. And if he says anything bad about Donald Trump, he knows Donald Trump can stop the checkbook immediately.
There goes his allowance.
There goes his exactly. All right? You want to say one bad thing to your Uncle Donald?
No.
And then Uncle Donald's taking you off the payroll.
Not if I'm Ukraine.
That's right.
I should know better. Pat on the hand.
So of course, he's going to say that. So it's not much of a defense. 3 other U.S. presidents have faced impeachment. Richard Nixon, by the way, who actually resigned from office. You want to hear an interesting fact? Of Richard Nixon, I've already probably given it away.
Okay.
Okay. All right. But of Richard Nixon, presidents who have gone through an impeachment process. Okay. Richard Nixon, Bill Clinton, and Andrew Johnson, who was the president after Abraham Lincoln. Those 3. Now Donald Trump is going to be the 4th. Of those 3, which of those 3 were actually not impeached?
Nixon.
Well, I don't know who left.
I feel
if
like
they
we've
left
talked
on
about
their
this
own,
before.
is that being
No,
impeached?
he left on his own.
Right.
He left. Nixon actually left before the House of Representatives impeached him.
Right.
Bill Clinton was impeached. He didn't leave because it was partisan, and the Democrats were supporting him. I wasn't alive during the time of Andrew Johnson.
Right.
I don't actually recall my high school history, but he was impeached too. But he survived. I know. I don't remember the exact.
The history books
I don't
didn't
remember the exact
notate it.
I don't remember the exact circumstances. But like Clinton, this whole thing is also partisan. The Democrats are going to impeach him. The Republicans are going to defend him. He'll end up staying in office. The reason why Nixon had to resign was because he lost both the Democrats and his own party, the Republicans. And that is the difference. If Donald Trump loses support of the Republicans, then that's a different story. But right now, they are defending him hook, line, and sinker.
Right.
Meanwhile, we also talked about, the other day, that Donald Trump had the Justice Department investigate the beginnings of the Russia investigation. It turned out that there was a drunk George Papadopoulos who spilled the beans to an Australian James Bond type dude who in turn told the Australian government, who in turn told the FBI that the Trump campaign knows the Russians took Hillary Clinton's emails and they're going to dump them. And right before WikiLeaks dumped them, Donald Trump says, I don't know if anybody stole Hillary Clinton's emails. I have no idea. I don't even know why I'm talking about Hillary Clinton's emails. I just think I'll bring it up. But if anybody happens to know where Hillary Clinton's emails are, it'd be nice if you dump them in WikiLeaks. And then several hours later, they got dumped. And of course, he says, I know nothing about it.
Right.
Okay? And this is a whole hoax and a witch hunt. Well, it turns out that the Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, he came out and he said it was not a witch hunt. It was not a political hack job. There was credible evidence to suggest that the FBI should have investigated and looked into this. However, the FBI did a very, very sloppy job in doing their police work and doing their subpoenas, which many of them may have violated the rights of certain people in the Trump campaign. It's possible. All right? It is very possible.
Why do you think they bring this to light now?
It's possible because cops always screw up. Okay? If you ever watch any cop show or any law show, it's always the cop who's always screws up the case. They put him in cross-examination. So with the FBI, the cops, they screw up all the time. But it doesn't mean that there was some... The point is that Donald Trump has been saying now for 2 years, for 2 freaking years, he's been saying that the deep state has been out to get him. There is no deep state. The Inspector General, Michael Horowitz, came out. There is no deep state. Nobody was out to get Donald Trump. We just had a bunch of bumbling FBI agents who didn't really follow the right rules. Right. And that's kind of what happened. So it's kind of like a draw for both Democrats and Republicans. There is no deep state. Nobody was out to get Donald Trump. There was credible evidence, which he may have violated the laws. We still don't know when it comes to the Russian investigation. We just have a bunch of bumbling cops who didn't do the subpoenas properly. That's kind of what has come out. So Donald Trump still doesn't like it. He says, God damn it, there is a deep state, Vanessa. It's there somewhere. He knows it. It exists. So he has now hired another investigator by the name of John Durham, who is the U.S. attorney in Connecticut. This guy, he looks like he is the former headmaster of the school where Harry Potter went. The former one, not the existing one when Harry Potter was a student. This was the headmaster before Harry Potter showed up. This was the guy, John Durham. He was the headmaster. What was the name of that stupid school?
Hogwarts.
He was the headmaster before Harry Potter showed up. That's what he looks like.
Right. He's the one that trained all the older wizards.
That's right. So Donald Trump, he hired this guy now. He is the U.S. attorney in Connecticut. And he is now going to investigate Michael Horowitz, who's investigating the FBI, who is investigating Donald Trump. So it's an investigation of an investigation of an investigation of an investigation. Until, God damn it, we find the deep state.
He's
We're
looking.
Gonna keep looking until it finds.
It's there, Brad.
Yes.
Speaking in a tone as if it's not.
You think there's a deep state?
I gotta follow the president.
It's so ridiculous. Meanwhile, do you know yesterday there is a new largest company, most expensive company, the biggest company, the wealthiest company in the world just went on the stock exchange. Do you know what this company is? Vanessa Contreras, you wish you had stock in this company. You would not be sitting here right now. Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias also wishes he had stock in this company.
Bit of everyday use?
Also, by the way, I have to say something. Brad Bernstein also wishes he had stock in this company. He would not know. I would be sitting here no matter what.
I was going to say, hey, I'd probably still be sitting here. I'd be humble about it.
This is quiz day. I feel like Alex Trebek. All right? I wish him well, by the way.
Yes.
I do wish him well, but he is sick. And eventually they're going to need a replacement. So watch how I quiz them, okay? So what is it? And it has to be in the form of a question.
What is?
What is Amazon?
Wrong.
No, what is that already was?
What?
I already asked the question. I already screwed up. They would fire me off of Jeopardy. I'm supposed to give the answer, and you have to give the question.
Right.
All right, but I already screwed it up. But the answer is the largest company in the entire world at a value now of $1.88 trillion. The first moment it went public. Do not Google it, Yonathan.
I already asked mine,
Do
so
not
you
Google
can't look.
it. Okay? It is the country of Saudi Arabia. They basically they made a company called Saudi Arabia Aramco. What? And Aramco basically has the rights to all of the oil in Saudi Arabia.
Wow.
And who owns Aramco?
Wow.
All the Saudi sheiks. They basically sold Saudi Arabia to a company, and then this company went public, and now basically the entire country of Saudi Arabia is a company because these Saudi sheiks sold all the rights to the oil in Saudi Arabia for the rest of eternity to this company that they own.
Forget Amazon.
Do you get it?
Forget Amazon.
All right, do you get it? So, as of 10:30 a.m. 2 days ago, the company was worth $1.88 trillion. That is the worth of the estimated oil underneath the ground in Saudi Arabia.
You didn't see this coming, Brad?
I did not see it coming.
You're supposed to let us all know where to invest.
Yes, by the way, it is more valuable than ExxonMobil, Shell, Chevron, and British Petroleum combined.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. They've only selling, by the way, this $1.88 trillion. Guess how much of the stock that they actually sold?
They're smart about it.
0.5%.
Wow.
There's still 99.5% stock owned by the Saudi sheiks. Now, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, he said he plans to use the money to buy himself 71 new Rolls Royces every day for the next 365 days. I made that up.
Oh, okay.
He says that is absolutely fake
But he could if he wanted to.
Right, that is absolutely fake news. He is going to use the money he raised to diversify the country's economy. Yeah, right. I am sure
That's what they all say.
He will be putting it to all the people in need in Saudi Arabia. I am sure that
all the employees at those gas.
Correct. Yes.
Those gas mills.
You know, all the guys pumping the gas.
Terrible.
They all have stock now.
They're all good.
We give stock to everybody.
0.0001.
Yeah. Whew. Meanwhile,
stuff.
a federal judge here stopped billions of dollars from going to the building of the wall between Mexico and the United States of America. They stopped $3.6 billion from being funneled from the U.S. military to build the wall in Mexico. 1.375 has already been authorized. The Supreme Court said it's okay. The city of El Paso has now sued because Donald Trump is now making his second payment towards the wall of $3.6 billion. That money has been stopped by a federal judge. It'll eventually go to the Supreme Court. We'll see what happens. Meanwhile, for the $1.375 billion that has been spent, what we discovered, Vanessa, this was before you joined the show, but what we discovered about 6 weeks ago is that there are reports that the Mexican coyotes can go to the Home Depot and for $100 drill a hole, buy a saw and drill a hole big enough for a human being to get through the wall. So for $1.375 million,
a nice $100.
A nice Hondo could get you right through the wall. Anyway.
Now, Brad, with Trump's impeachment? This is already set and done. This wall. This doesn't stop any.
It doesn't stop the wall. Because
it's already done.
Well, he's doing part of the wall. He needs about $6 billion to actually build the wall from sea to shining sea, or at least from the Gulf of Mexico all the way to the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
But he only has funded $1 billion of the $6 billion to actually do it. This second $3 billion has been stopped so far. Did you see what happened in New Zealand? It was really, really sad, by the way.
What happened?
You didn't see what happened?
I
So
didn't
there was an
either.
active volcano that people were going to. It was a tourist destination, and it was active, just like many active volcanoes around the world. 18,000 people would go to this island every year to see this active volcano. They would take a boat. It's an island off of New Zealand, and as they were tourists on this island hiking the active volcano that the tour company said is perfectly safe, the thing just exploded, and 8 people were basically eviscerated.
Oh,
Damn.
wow.
Okay, 21 people were sent to the hospital with burns over a majority of their body, and there is another 8 people who have been unaccounted for who are now presumed dead. The New Zealand government has warned tourists, stay away. And, the big thing is, well, how could these tour companies bring you to an active volcano? And I could tell you, I'm an active traveler. I've been to many active volcanoes, and everybody always says, yeah, it's perfectly safe. It's not going to explode. This thing hasn't exploded in 100 years. This thing hasn't exploded in, 300 years.
Right.
But apparently, you never know what's going to happen with Mother Nature. It's a terrible, terrible thing. What else is happening? Meanwhile, Time Magazine has come up with the
Entertainer?
the person of the year.
Person of the year.
Person of
So
the
it's not
year.
the entertainer of the year.
We will come to the entertainer of the year, but it's
Okay.
right now the person.
The person of the
Of the
year.
year.
And this is an American person.
It is not an American person.
Oh.
I will tell
Times.
you. It was between. I will tell you who it was between.
Oh, multiple
Okay.
choice.
And I'll give you the choices. Don't look it up, Vanessa. You're looking it up.
You're a
cheating.
cheater.
I'm not.
Don't cheat.
I'm checking on the squad.
All right.
You guys
sure?
aren't.
All right. I'm making sure she's not cheating. All right. I'm going to tell you who it came down to.
Okay.
All right. It came down to the Hong Kong protesters as a group, Nancy Pelosi, Donald Trump, the anonymous whistleblower whose complaint sparked the impeachment, and Greta Thunberg, the 16-year-old girl who was the environmental activist.
Greta.
Oh, I would say the same. Definitely Greta.
It was Greta. She is
Nice.
the youngest
Wow.
person to ever be named.
Jeez.
She's the Swedish climate activist. And now Donald Trump, he was upset about this.
Of course.
Okay, because he's had
Let the little girl have her shine.
No. He's had an obsession, first of all, with not only Greta, but with Time Magazine Person of the Year. For some reason, he thinks it's like a big deal. So in October 2012, let's just go through the history of Donald Trump with this, because it will lead up to what I'm talking about. So in 2012, Trump tweeted, "I know last year that a Time Magazine lost all credibility when they didn't include me in their top 100 people." Then 3 years later, when he was running for president, Trump tweeted in 2015, "I told you a Time Magazine would never pick me as Person of the Year despite being the big favorite. They picked the person who's ruining Germany." So he complains every year when he's not the Time Magazine of the Year. But then in 2017, in 2016, he was honored with the Person of the Year, and he tweeted, "Thank you to Time Magazine and the Financial Times for naming me Person of the Year. What a great honor." So now he's happy. In 2017, he tweeted, "I was going to be the Person of the Year, but I had to agree to an interview and I turned them down.
Oh my
I
God.
said probably
He's
he's no
so
good
full
and
of
took a
himself.
pass. Thanks anyway." So he
Took a
said
pass.
so he basically said in 2017 he was
annoying.
going to be the Person of the Year, and he declined it. So now
annoying.
in 2019, Greta wins the Person of the Year, and Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, he now tweets, "Ridiculous. Greta must work on her anger management problem, then go to a good old-fashioned movie with a friend. Chill,
Wow.
Greta, chill."
Wow.
I mean, he's
This
going
is the
after.
president.
He is
It's so
going.
crazy that this is our president. That's
He
fucking-
is lashing out on a 16.
Greta, chill.
He's lashing out on a 16-year-old girl. Then his campaign.
Does
I
he
don't
really
know-
write these?
He really writes
He
this.
really writes these tweets, doesn't he?
He sits in his bed, that little fat pumpkin, sits in his bed,
Small hands.
thinking about who he can bully.
That's
While
exactly what it is.
his wife is saying, "Stop bullying on the internet." All right, what's her thing? Be brave, not be brave. Be.
She had to come up with something.
She had something. Be something. I think her thing was be rich. Oh yes, I'll marry Donald Trump.
Okay.
That's really what her saying.
That'll get me there.
Yeah. So, but I don't know if we have the picture of Trump putting his face on Greta Thunberg's body and tweeting it out that he should have been the person of the year. Let's see this. Do we have that picture?
Wow.
Yes.
Serious?
So
Wow.
this is Donald Trump's tweet. He put his face. He's such a sick F. You know what?
Doesn't he have like
What
a court date or
sick-
something? Doesn't he
What
have
a
to be
sick,
somewhere?
what a sick person he is.
That is
It's like when the
crazy.
yearbook elections come out and everyone wants to be like class clown or most popular. Like he's just like dying to be like person of the year.
What a sick guy. Meanwhile, Megan Rapinoe, she was the female soccer player for the U.S. women's team.
Yeah.
Won Sportsperson of the Year. And she had an adamant stance punctuated with expletives, that she refused to visit the White House after the women's team won the Women's World Cup.
Oh yeah, that was her when we saw her at the parade.
That was her from there she is from the parade from winning the World Cup in New York City. And she is the
awesome.
sports person of the year. You guys are Lizzo fans?
Yep. Entertainer
Yes.
of the
Oh,
year.
is that why I was
I saw
waiting
that
for
she's
you.
the entertainer of the year.
She is entertainer of the year.
And deserves it.
And
Yeah.
she also threw the internet up in a tizzy
Sure did.
when she went to
Lizzo.
the basketball game. Was this in Chicago?
Lakers.
The Lakers game. This was the Lakers game, and she was basically showing her stuff. We have a picture of what she was showing.
That's my baby. New man on the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Well, that's not what was showing, but she
Well,
was
you
there
guys
singing.
just took it off before they were about to show.
We were about to show what she was wearing.
There it is.
All right, we have it there.
Oh.
Yes. So
Yeah.
there it is. She's wearing basically a thong.
Right, with
She's
a
wearing
nice
thong.
cutout.
Yes, right. Now it reminds me a little bit. There was I'm big into the movies from the 1970s. I forgot there was a movie from the 1970s. Nobody would ever remember this movie ever in a million years, but it was with Goldie Hawn's father, I believe. I forgot his name. I mean, that's
I
how
just
old,
barely know
that's-
Goldie
right,
Hawn.
right, that's how old I'm getting, right? And oh no, not her father, the guy she was married to. Excuse me.
Okay.
Not Kurt Russell. Before that. So he's shopping in Bloomingdale's, and this is the 1970s, and he rips his pants in the back, and then he gets plastic from one of the mannequins and puts it on his jeans in the back, and his butt cheeks are hanging out, and he starts a whole fashion trend, and that's what that reminded me of. 30 years
I'm here
later.
for it. I'm
And
here for it.
So
there's
what do you
Lizzo.
think?
I'm here for it, but a lot of people weren't.
Right. Now, journalist Charles Blow, he's a very opinionated man. He has an opinion section in the New York Times. Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't, but extraordinarily opinionated. He says there is so much flesh shown in sports and around it. Ever seen women pole vaulting, dancers, cheerleaders, and somehow at Lizzo is out of bounds?
Right.
Give me a break.
Right.
All right?
Out
I
of
agree.
bounds.
All right, now, at Pam V PhD, she tweeted, "I'm definitely on. It's not appropriate for anyone to expose that much in a public venue. I monitor what my kids see, and this is acceptable to the majority. Then a warning should be given before the tickets are purchased." So, Lizzo's emotional video response, do we have it? If we don't, I will paraphrase what Lizzo said. She said,
who I
okay,
am
she says,
and the essence of me and the things that I choose to do as a grown-ass woman. Never, ever let somebody stop you or shame you. This is who I've always been. Now everyone's looking at it, and your criticism can just remain your criticism.
And I agree.
But at a public basketball game?
Listen, they have pictures of other celebrities that have thongs. They have their breasts basically hanging out. And the only reason why that didn't come out, look at Nicki Minaj. You can see her whole butt. That's a thong. And like just a titty tassel. And nobody said anything about that. You know why? Because she is skinny and she got body. Now, Lizzo has nothing but a full figure. She is a full figure black woman, and that is the only reason why people are mad at that. Because she is full figured and she is comfortable in her own skin.
Touche.
Because all them skinny little girls, they do the same thing. They do the same thing, and they don't say nothing to them.
Do you think that she was aware of the controversy?
Absolutely.
That she was
going.
Knew. That she knew.
She had an album dropping too.
This was a huge publicity,
Right.
a huge publicity thing. She knew as a very curved, I guess the best way to call, a woman with curves,
right?
Flaunting skin is going to be a talking point for a lot of people.
Listen, anytime there's a hashtag Lizzo, it is a benefit to her, negative or positive.
Right.
I'll tell you one thing about Donald Trump. Okay, you can say a lot of things about that pumpkin, but he did say one thing.
What?
There's no such thing as bad publicity.
This is
He
true.
said that a long time before he ever.
I want to know what the Brad Squad thinks. Do you guys think it was out of, the ordinary? Do you think that she shouldn't have done it? She should do it? Because, that is a big thing. Some people also say, you're taking body positivity too far, And I think that's where the problem is. It's like, if you're not comfortable in your own skin, and she is, you can't fault her for it.
Right. I also feel like there's different ways of going about it, but once we bring up Nicki Minaj and her in that outfit,
and nobody said nothing about that.
Of course, and no one would say anything about it. If anything, it's just Nicki and it's accepted. But same thing goes for Lizzo.
Now, Sure Webley on Facebook says they only doing that because she's fluffy.
Yeah.
Right. And now. Donald Horton says, "I love when females wear thongs."
Okay.
He's saying that on. Now, Donald, maybe you should be saying that to 29 Super C. I mean, they seem to be having a thing going, right?
Back and forth.
Donald, you can handle that? What's up? But I did see that, she is from Houston, and I don't know if they have that as a point, but Lizzo is from Houston, so I found out that there's a dance team. I don't know what sports it is, but a women's dance team has invited her to come and dance in thongs. And do a twerk contest. And she was like, I'll be there with bells on my ass. Look. You got to support.
Listen,
the thongs.
I have no problem with it. Do you think it would have been a problem if she was skinny?
No, absolutely not.
I think it would have been.
No.
I don't think so.
I don't.
Because you want to know what? Like, let's say...
that was Nicki Minaj at a basketball game.
Let's let you what's her name? Jenner.
Kylie Jenner.
Kylie Jenner.
But you see how there's a mesh overlay on everything, although under it is an undergarment. There's like a mesh overlay.
At least Lizzo was covered. It was a whole T-shirt. Nicki, breast all out. You can see the whole cleavage. You can see the whole breast. Look at the whole breast. Look at the thong.
Looking at the breast.
Yo, this is not hump day, man. Calm down, Yo-Yo.
Right.
Calm down.
Yo-Yo missed Wednesday.
Yo-Yo missed Wednesday. He's like, look at the breast. Look at the breast.
Just kept on saying it, huh? Breast.
All right. So finally, to calm Yo-Yo down a little bit. If anybody ever had that need, any man ever had that need to smell exactly like a Lionel Richie.
That's exactly the same. I want my man down every day.
You're like, babe.
You're smelling a little less Lionel this morning.
Babe, I really just wish you would smell like Lionel Richie. What? If anybody's ever said that to their man, Lionel Richie has come out with his own fragrance.
Oh, what?
Yes.
He's making a comeback.
For women and men, it's Hello.
It's a nice bottle.
Which is from his song, what is it? Hello?
Is it me you're looking for?
Right.
I see it in your eyes. Okay.
I hope he's using the same promo pic he used for that track.
So, I don't know. Is he a little too late to be bringing out his fragrance?
What? He could have left that to one of his kids at this point.
Could he have done that like 30 years ago, maybe? But now is it a little too late for Lionel Richie's fragrance?
He has the right marketing team now.
Yes.
If it smells good, you're never too late for fragrance. I mean, we always need fragrance. It doesn't matter who's throwing it out there.
And by the way, in an interview, he says that if this is successful, he will come out with a second fragrance called All Night Long.
No, you're lying.
It's in the works.
Yes, it's in the works all night long. It's a long-lasting one.
Nice.
It's a follow-up. It's a follow-up.
Yeah.
An aftershave.
Now, the actual two fragrances, there's a feminine one called Eau de Parfum, which is a fruity top notes like pear and grapefruit, rich floral heart notes like tuberose and jasmine, and a sweet yet musky base of honey and tonka.
Are you having fun describing that fragrance?
Now, the more masculine Eau de Toilette is topped off with the citrus and mint, with a heart of lavender and violet leaves and base notes like patchouli and vetiver. Now, Vanessa, when you're back on
this holiday
season, we're gonna go out and buy Yonathan the Hello fragrance.
I love cologne. I love cologne.
We're gonna ask you to sit next to him on our next show. Take a few whiffs and ask, is this a smell? Yonathan,
Do I recommend this to all you gentlemen out there?
Yonathan, I'm gonna tell you something. This Lionel Richie thing, I think you're onto something there.
Listen, I'll be down to try it. I'll actually be down to try it. Listen, I support.
That's a classic.
Yeah.
All right. So, in any event, why don't you tell everybody what they need to do? I don't know if we're on Instagram. I have no idea, but I know we're on Facebook and YouTube. Tell everybody what they need to do because we're getting in to our meat and potatoes.
Absolutely. All right, everybody on Facebook, this is the time. You already know what time it is. It's time to start your watch party. All right, so you already know how to do it, but if you don't and you're new, I'm about to tell you exactly how to do it.
Let them know, yo-yo.
Click that little share button where the arrow is pointed to the right. An option down or two options down, it'll say start a watch party. And all you have to do is click start. It will literally go straight to your page. You're bringing the Brad Show onto your page. This is the best time to do it because this is where, like Brad said, the meat and the potatoes of the show is. This is where we're gonna get all of the juicy questions.
This is where it gets good.
It gets really good. So I'm gonna say one more time for those who don't know how to do it. All you have to do is click start. And then the option or two options down, it will say start a watch party, and all you have to click on is start, and it will go straight to your page. You will see how many friends you have online, and it will send a notification right away. And what are we gonna do on YouTube right now?
Alrighty, team, and on YouTube, you already know, make sure that you subscribe, turn that red button off, and make sure that you turn on the bell signal so that you are notified every time that we go on air, and make sure you give us a big thumbs up because that helps us to get this show on the road and keep things going. Make sure that you share with everyone online right now. Some of your friends need to hear this. We're getting to the good stuff where we're answering questions coming straight from you guys. So please make sure to share it, start your watch parties because we are about to get into it with Uncle Brad.
Yes, and this is where you start calling in to get your answers. We're getting answers to your immigration questions.
I'm getting used to being called Uncle Brad.
I like it.
It took me a long time.
As you should.
To accept it. I didn't accept it because I think Uncle seems like I'm an elderly statesperson.
Not at all.
Nope. You're the wise one, the most respected.
But today I walked into a consultation room and somebody said, Uncle Brad.
Whoa.
And they came to you for wisdom.
That's right.
And
they said, Uncle Brad, now that I know you're Uncle Brad, you're going to give me a discount, right? They'll use the Uncle
Squad.
Brad for a discount.
Call in on the show. That's your discount.
And then I walked into the control room right before, and this is the first time I've ever actually said this. I walked over and said, Maestro, how are you? And he goes, how are you, sir? He says to me, and I said, I am not, sir. You refer to me as, how are you, Uncle Brad?
Let's get this straight.
Very true story.
Who has a boss that says, don't call me sir, call me Uncle Brad.
I said, don't ever refer to me as sir.
How dare you?
I am Uncle Brad.
It just stuck.
It did. All right, let's go to Sunil in Houston, Texas. Sunil. Sunil,
Hello?
how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Actually, I have a problem. I'm been a green card holder for 6 years. Last November, something happened.
What happened?
I'm working in a gas station as a cashier. So the TABC, they sent the girl. They set me up, with the.
What's the THBC? What is THBC?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. What's THBC?
No. That's the Texas Agriculture Beverage Commissioner.
The Texas what? Commissioner?
Agriculture Beverage Commissioner.
Okay, so some state agency did what to you?
They sent the girl.
To buy cigarettes underage?
Yeah. There was.
All right. So you were arrested for selling cigarettes to an underage girl.
Not the cigarette. There was the beer. One beer, 16 ounce.
Oh, okay. To selling alcohol to a minor.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have a green card?
Yeah. I don't get arrested. I just they give me ticket.
So what's your question?
So before this happened. This happened is last November, but I was gonna apply my citizenship. But I my scan now. I never had no problem. But this happened. So
well, it depends what ends up with your case. Just because you get a ticket doesn't necessarily mean it's not a criminal situation. It certainly doesn't mean that it would not affect your good moral character. I don't know. It definitely is going to affect your citizenship. I have no idea if what you did is a deportable offense. If you're found guilty of it, I am not an expert in Texas penal law when it comes to people selling alcohol to a minor, but it's certainly a criminal offense, even though you just got a ticket. So I think.
Sorry, they dismissed the case.
If it was,
then I expunge it. Expunge the case and everything clean now.
1 second. In Texas, what they do, they have post-conviction relief. So what they do is they have you plead guilty. This is what happens in Texas, and people get screwed up all the time. You plead guilty, the judge says do your probation, and at the end of the probation, if everything is okay, we're going to expunge the case. I've even seen it happen with people with drug offenses that did 10 years probation, and then it was expunged 10 years later. It's still a deportable conviction. It's a definition of a conviction under the Immigration and Nationality Act because you plead guilty to something and you have a punishment and then it's retroactively expunged. It's still a conviction for immigration purposes versus how they do it in New York, just as an example, is they do it as what's called an ACD, an adjourned in contemplation of dismissal, where a judge says, we're going to basically adjourn this case for 6 months. You are not going to plead guilty to anything. Maybe you'll do some sort of class. Maybe you'll do this. Maybe you'll do that. You're not going to plead guilty to anything, but I want you to do X, Y, Z. And then if you do it, I'm going to dismiss the case. Well, you never pled guilty. There's a difference. So I know what they do in Texas. They screw people who are immigrants all the time. So what I would suggest that you do before you file your citizenship, because as soon as I heard you say, yes, I did something and then they expunged it, I already know in my head you have a conviction for immigration. Whether it's deportable or not, I don't know. You need a consultation. Hold on. Let's go to Martin in Hanover, Massachusetts. Martin.
Hello, good night.
How are you?
Fine, you bad?
What's going on?
Okay, I got 2 questions. I got an interview for tomorrow in the morning. Is my I-551 for my passport stamp to travel out to the country. My question is, what type of document you think I can take with me?
You have an I-551 stamp in your passport already, so you can travel with that.
No, I'm not getting it. I got to do it. I'm going tomorrow for the interview.
For what?
For the I-551 stamp.
Do you have a green card already and you've lost it? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
Okay, so just bring your passport.
You have my passport?
That's it.
Okay, next question. Do you think that the officer gonna ask me difficult questions?
No, he's going to ask you, where's your passport, prove you are who you are, and put a stamp in it.
Okay, one last question, Brad.
Yes.
When I lost my green card, I had my social security, my ID, I had all my documents in my wallet. If you think somebody find my wallet, do you think they can mess me up?
What do I know? I mean, you know, what are they going to do? They're going to pretend they're you? I mean, there's always people who have identity theft all the time, but I don't think they can go traveling as you. You know, unless they look just by happenstance, the guy who found your wallet looks exactly like you. So they can't really use your ID and say, this is me. I would be shocked. But what they can do is if they find your green card and your driver's license and your social security number, I guess there's ways, cyber crimes that can go on and they can get credit cards in your name and things of that and screw up your credit report. So I would suggest you go online and just run a credit report and make sure that nobody's screwing with applying for things in your name. That would be I would be more concerned about.
Yeah, because I've been calling the police department.
The police are not going to do that. The police just take a report, everything's missing, but what the police are not going to do is monitor your credit report and see if criminals are basically making pretend they're you to open up credit cards and stuff like that. So I would go online and go just run your credit report and see what but that's it. Nobody's gonna, I find it really hard to believe that the person who found Martin's information is an exact duplicate of you and they can pose as you. That's not gonna happen. All right, but they can go online and pretend they're you. That's what.
Oh yeah, because like how I got the interview for tomorrow, I get scared that something probably gonna come up.
Well, I don't think anything will come up other than you've lost your green card.
Oh. Well, thank you very much.
Right.
I DM you, but you answer me back, so thank you for that too.
You're very welcome. All right. Let's go to Nesso in Springfield, Massachusetts. Nesso.
Yes, hello?
How are you?
I'm good. I have one question, but I'm just calling to thank you. I'm waiting for my green card interview, and I got approved. Trust me, it was all because of you.
Oh, thank you.
Just
My
by
pleasure.
calling in, asking questions, analyzing other people's questions, your answer. I did the paperwork and everything.
Great. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Do you have a question? You're just calling to praise
yes.
me.
Do I? Well, actually, I was calling to just thank you.
I accept all praise. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yes, I just have one question. Once I got the green, to leave the country right away, or do I have to?
If you have a stamp in your passport that says you're approved, then you can leave. If you got some sort of approval letter but don't have a green card and you want to travel, like Martin, the call before, go down to immigration, go for an I-551 stamp and get a stamp on your passport. But they don't question you. They just
I got the green card. I got it in a couple of days.
Yeah, great. So go travel. The day you have your green card, go. Bon voyage.
Thank you.
All right. Good luck. Thank you for the nice words. Let's go to Ashley in Newark. Ashley.
Hello.
Hi, Ashley.
How are you?
Good. What's going on?
I'm calling on behalf of a friend, right? So here's the thing. She did her interview, her first interview last year.
I have an ear problem here. Go ahead now. I lost my thing. Go ahead. You calling for a friend and what happened?
Yeah, she did her first interview in November of last year.
Right.
And they told her that she should wait for a letter in the mail. And then she got one in March of this year, for a second interview. And she did a second interview, but she hasn't heard anything since.
The reason she got a second interview was because on the first interview they didn't believe it was a real marriage. And the reason she hasn't heard anything from the second interview is because they most likely still don't believe it's a real marriage. Because when you go on the second interview, the longer it takes to get an approval, the less likely it is that you will be approved. Why? Because it's very easy to press a button says you're approved. You don't have to give any reasons why you're approved. You can just press a button, you're approved, and print out the letter. If you're going to be denied, by law, they have to give the reasons why, which means somebody has to sit down and write out the reasons why in a formal decision denying your case. And it takes a lot longer for somebody to sit down and write out the decision than it is to press a button on a form letter that says you're approved. I'm not saying you're going to be denied. Maybe they're doing an investigation and they find it's a good marriage. Maybe it's just your fingerprints didn't clear. They're waiting for that, and then they'll press the button and say you're approved. I don't know. And by the way, I'm being very I guess liberal with the facts. There's no button I think that's pressed that's approved. I'm just giving you general idea. I don't know why you haven't heard. Don't have the slightest idea. Let me ask you a question. How'd you do on the interview? Nobody's there. I don't hear her. Nobody's there. She hung up on me. Oh. I'm talking. That was a fantastic answer.
That was fantastic. I'm glad.
God damn it! And she didn't even hear.
She's tuned in.
I shouldn't curse on my show.
She's tuned in.
I probably don't want to do that.
I don't want to curse on my show. Cuss. You ever see that?
It was good though.
Cuss.
Yeah.
Cuss or curse? How do you phrase it? You say, "Don't cuss at me" or "Don't curse at me."
I say, "Don't cuss."
Don't cuss.
Don't cuss. Don't cuss at me. Who you
curse.
cussing at? Who are you cursing at, or what?
Yeah, nobody says cursing.
Yeah. Who you cussing at?
Yeah.
Actually, who are you talking to like that? What's good?
Tell me exactly how you say it.
Who are you talking to like that? What you think you're doing? You're out your mind right now.
Why do you say it so
Look
nicely?
at them firm in the eye.
I think you would say it so much meaner than that.
When the people actually say it nicely, those are the ones that you should be afraid of.
Right, because they're calm.
Yes.
Right, and they're calm.
You don't want that. Hey, what?
Yeah, because you know that's all just show.
Because this is crazy inside.
Right. You just know that's all show.
Exactly.
By the way, I believe
everybody else saying cuss.
Cuss. All right. By the way, I think our next person, I speak to him like every day.
Let's see. Are they in Hanover?
Sam from Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Our boy
we speak
Sam
to
is
him every day.
The new Muhammad.
Yes. Every day we hear from Sam. Sam, how are you?
How are you, sir? I'm sorry to bother you again,
Not
It's
bothering.
not unburdened.
We're not bothering you.
We're only teasing.
As long as it's a new issue. If I'm going to answer the same question every time, then yes, it's a bother.
No. I really appreciate you answer my question every time.
Yeah. What's going on?
And I have one question today. That's it. So my question is, my wife, she's on U-Care. Is it going to be a red flag for me during the consular processing?
What is it called?
My wife, she's on the U-Care, like Medicare or U-Care.
Yes, because any state assistance now is a negative when you're consular processing.
Oh, if I get my own medical insurance.
That would be a positive. So the fact that she is on some sort of state assistance doesn't mean you definitely don't get it. It's a negative, and then you would need to show something more positive. The way that they work at the embassy is different than they work for adjustment at this moment. The way they work for adjustments are you show 3 years tax returns, you're 125% above the poverty level, you get a green card. What they do at their embassies is it's Donald Trump's new policy. There's a court order not allowing it in for adjustments, but at embassies, they have a list of positive factors and a list of negative factors, and your list of positive factors has to outweigh the list of negative factors. A negative factor is that your wife is on some sort of state government assistance. A positive factor is that you have your own medical insurance. Maybe they weigh each other out. You got to look at the entire case.
All right. Thank you so much
You're very welcome.
for your time. Thank you.
All right. Man, he's going to cuss. He's going to start cussing. Say, wife, get off that, right?
See, with that, I'll be like, he about to talk out his neck.
Yeah, but you want to know what? It's too late to get off it, because if you're on it for any period of time, 3 years before you go for consular processing, it's too late.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Steve in Orlando, Florida. Steve.
Yes. Hi. How are you today?
How you doing?
I am doing great. Nice talking to you, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'm a U.S. citizen, but I'm from Jamaica.
Yes.
I went to the U.S. Not the U.S. I went to the embassy with my son from April. From April.
You went to the U.S. Embassy in Kingston with your son?
No. Yeah, the U.S. Embassy in Kingston.
With your son. How old is your son?
Yes. He's now 22.
Okay. And you filed for him before he was 21, I assume?
Yes.
Okay. And when you filed for him before 21, you were a U.S. citizen?
Yes.
Okay. So what happened at the embassy? Why is he not here in America?
I don't know. They took his passport from April. They sent back, said they need some more information.
What was the information that they wanted?
They need myself and my wife tax, not the tax, them call it gross something.
What?
They call it the amount of money we make for the end of the year.
It's called the tax
combined.
return.
Tax, yeah,
Yes.
and I sent it to them.
Right.
And from then, I haven't heard back anything.
When did you send it to them?
I went there in April.
When did you send back the tax
in
return?
May.
In May.
In May.
All right, so it's 120 days from May. You should have heard something. They're now violating your son's rights. They have to either give him a green card or give him a reason why they're denied. So if you still haven't heard anything, you have three choices. You could sit on your hands and do nothing. You could you can go fly back to Jamaica and you're a U.S. citizen and walk into the embassy and say, what's going on? I want my son to come here. Why doesn't he come here? Because you're a U.S. citizen. You're allowed to walk into the embassy and talk to somebody. Or three, you can hire somebody to go do that on your behalf, such as a law firm called Spar Bernstein.
Okay,
Those are your three choices.
So with your law firm, you would be able to do that.
Yeah, we don't walk in, but we'll call the embassy and see what's going on. Absolutely. So hold on 1 second, all right?
Okay.
But I don't know what the answer is, but we'll figure it out. All right.
Okay.
I believe that what we are hearing in the background is fire trucks.
Yes.
Okay. Maestro just whispered into my ear that don't worry, the smoke condition in the control room is under control.
Oh, good.
So it's not us.
So he said it's under control.
Go on with the show, Brad.
Go on with the show. If you smell anything, don't worry. That's what he told me.
Keep answering those
Keep
calls.
answering the calls.
Priority.
We're all good. Okay.
All right. So in today's Spar Bernstein Attorney Close-Up, immigration attorney Yonathan Aftalon explains why you need an immigration attorney to handle your case. Let's watch.
It's important to have an attorney handle your immigration case because we are very knowledgeable in terms of the law and we make sure it's done the right way. So we have clients come in all the time that they try to do the petition on their own and it was denied for a variety of reasons. Immigration law is extremely technical. You have to get the forms done right or they may be rejected. Also, if you have any criminal type of concerns or issues, that requires the legal research and knowledge to be able to circumvent those issues. We have experience going into these interviews and going into the hearings. So if you're petitioning for a spouse or for a loved one, we'll be able to prepare you for the types of questioning that you may have. I liken it to studying for a test. You could have the material in front of you, you could go into the test and try doing it on your own, or you could actually study the material and go in and be a lot more prepared. And we've seen a much higher chance of success on these applications with proper preparation and the forms being done the right way.
Successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right. They just woke me up.
Right.
I know.
They sure did. You should have seen his face.
We were just ready to go on, and then we just got screamed at.
2-1.
2-1.
Back on the air.
Right. Reminds me of when I took a dance lessons once.
Oh, I want to hear about this.
Yes.
We are on Instagram.
4, 3, 2, 1. That's all I remember. 4, 3, 2, 1. 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Well,
I quit.
Dancers only count up to 8.
I quit. They only gave me up to 4.
Sheesh.
Was it a ballroom class?
Yeah, well, I don't know what I was doing. They claim I was dancing, but I have no idea.
I can't even picture it.
What?
I can't picture it.
Yeah, they claim I was dancing.
I'd like to picture it.
Yes.
I'd like to see that.
They claim I was dancing. I don't know what I was doing. I just kept counting 4, 3, 2, 1.
It was definitely ballroom.
All right, let's go to Simone in Brooklyn. Simone. Simone,
waiting so long. She took a nap.
Hello?
Hi, Simone. How are you?
Hi, Brad.
What's going on?
Good night.
Good night.
Yes, I have an interview on Monday gone, and everything went sort of pursuing them right, me and my husband. And when I was coming here, when I get the visa in Jamaica, they said I put on the form that I live with my spouse. Right, and
But there was no spouse? Did you have a spouse in Jamaica?
no, I didn't have a boyfriend at the time when I get my
All right,
visa.
so this is the deal, Simone. Okay,
Mhm.
you and lots of people from lots of countries, when you go to travel agencies and you go for a travel agency or a consultant in another country, and you say, "Get me a visa," a lot of times you have no idea what they're putting on that application. Now, let me finish. One of the ways to show that to get a visitor's visa, or a more likely way to get a visitor's visa, is to show you're married in Jamaica. Why? Because you have to show you have a reason to leave the United States after you come for a short period of time. So people who are married are less likely to leave their spouses and be separated for long periods of time than people who are single. So when you walk into the embassy, the odds of getting a visa go up if you're married versus if you're single. So a lot of times these agencies get paid to get you visas, and they lie and make stuff up that you may or may not be aware of. Maybe you did know, maybe you didn't know. You don't have to say anything at the moment. I'm just telling you, I know how it works. So you go to the embassy, you claim you're married, they doctor up some documents, you get your visa because they believe you're married and you're going to return home, but in fact you're single, and guess what? They're right. You didn't return home. You stayed in America, and you got married, believing that you've never been married before in your life. And you go to the embassy, and you go adjust your status, and you go with this man that you love, and it's a good, bona fide, loving marriage, and you show up to the interview, and they have your records from when you applied for your visa 10, 20, 30 years ago, whatever it is. These records don't disappear. And they say, wait a second. You said you were married when you got your visa. So either you lied at the embassy, or you're lying now and you're a bigamist. One or the other, you're lying somewhere, and you say, well, I didn't lie. I hired somebody else to do this. Too bad. You signed the papers. You're responsible for everything on that form. It's now misrepresentation. So what do you do in these situations? Because these situations happen. You now have to go to Jamaica, get a letter from the National Record Center that they've done a search throughout all, 14 parishes, I believe, in Jamaica. I could be wrong. It's 13 colonies, 14 parishes, I believe. 13 colonies in the United States, 14 parishes in Jamaica. Somebody from Jamaica, please confirm this. It's somebody from the Revolutionary War.
I was waiting for some.
Right, and somebody from the Revolutionary War, please confirm 13 colonies.
It is 14 parishes
14 parishes, but we need someone.
1866.
We need somebody from the Revolutionary War to confirm 13 colonies.
Yeah,
So I think they're all
Don
dead.
Harriet says 14.
Okay, fine. So it got from all 14 parishes that that there is no marriage for Simone to XYZ. In fact, there's no marriage to Simone anywhere. Now you go back to the embassy, you go back to your interview and say, okay, I'm in a legal marriage, I'm not a bigamist, but apparently there was a misrepresentation in Jamaica, and you now have to file a waiver. Even though you may believe you didn't do anything wrong, it was somebody else, you're still the ultimate responsible party. So you need a waiver.
Oh my God.
Hold on. That's what happened. See, she didn't even have to tell me.
You already knew.
I already knew. Uncle Brad.
14 parishes in Jamaica, 14.
Everybody says 14.
There it
so
is,
I was
man.
right.
Thank you for coming out.
Right. I was correct.
Good job.
Thank you. Let's go to Tony.
Snapple fact. Jamaican Snapple fact of the day.
Yes.
Is Snapple sponsoring us, or we just gave him a freebie?
Dag, we did.
Tony in Bridgeport, Connecticut. Tony.
In Connecticut.
Tony in Connecticut. Let's try one more time. Tony, there you go. Tony, what's going on?
Yeah, it's 14 parish is in Jamaica.
Thank you very much, Tony. The 15th person to confirm this. We now know for a fact.
I like that.
We now know it is a fact.
Yes.
A Snapple fact of the day. Tony, what can we...
for Christopher Columbus. Thank God for Christopher Columbus.
What? What did he say? Say again?
Thank God for Christopher Columbus.
That's right. That's right. All right. So what can we do to help you today?
Yeah, I have a friend. He filed for his stepdaughter.
Yes.
And they approved the I-130 and the I-797. The letter that they sent, but the notice
Right.
they said
The
that
I-797 is the approval letter. Okay.
Right. So they say the petitioner indicate that the beneficiary is in the United States, but the beneficiary is in Jamaica.
Okay. So then what happens is they never transferred the case to the National Visa Center. So what you have to do is a I-824, which is an application to transfer the case from immigration. You got to pay another filing fee. Pain in the ass. You got to wait months now. Pain in the ass. Maybe it's the person who petitions' fault. Maybe it's not. I don't know. Because sometimes they wrote that the person's here. Maybe immigration screwed up. It doesn't matter. Your case is sitting at a local immigration office. It's got to get transferred to the National Visa Center. So you got to do an I-824, pay another filing fee, and wait, unfortunately.
So is the beneficiary have to do that?
No, the petitioner.
Petitioner?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So hang in there. Hold on if you need help. Let's go to Sandwick in Patterson, New Jersey. Sandwick.
Yes, hello.
How are you?
Yes, I'm okay. I just got a few questions to ask. I've been in the United States since 2007, and I recently filed for my citizenship in May, the 1st of May, and I got 3 arrests, and I'm about to go in for my interview. I haven't got a date yet, but
when did you get your green card?
I got my green card in 2000 and the ending part of 2007. I came here in 2007 and I got it in the ending part because I come here in
What were your three?
January.
What were your 3 arrests?
One was I got 3 arrests. One was for petty theft. One was for dating violence, and one was
Dating
for
violence?
Yeah, that's what's under disposition.
What state is dating violence?
I have no idea.
What state do you live in?
This was in Florida,
In
but
Florida?
no, I'm living in Jersey.
Okay.
Yes.
And the third one was what?
The third one was for tampering with evidence.
Temporary for tampering?
Tampering with evidence.
Tampering with evidence.
Yes.
Okay. And were you guilty on any of these offenses?
Come again? I didn't
Did
hear
you
you.
plead guilty on any of these offenses? Were you found guilty on any of these offenses?
Actually, I watch your show mostly every day, and this is the question that a lot of people you answer these questions. I don't know if I plead guilty or not. Them charges, they was just dismissed. I never see the judge or anything.
Well,
I show up for the court date.
So then when are you going for your citizenship interview?
I don't have a date. They're just saying that.
Then I'm going to call timeout on you right now. If you watch my show every day, and I know you do, and I'm sure you're a smart man, okay, you never file with immigration and have no idea what happened on your criminal cases, because you're just like, it's like, you know what? You're like, you know what? I'm going to jump off this cliff. I hope it's not too far down. You have no idea. Okay? This is my thing with you. Time out for you. come in to see us. You're in Patterson. I'm across the river. Let's get your dispositions and let's see what happened. Because it's one of then great. Then you're going to bring them in. Then you're going to bring them in to me because it's going to be one of three. One is you're a deportable alien and you got a big problem. We got to figure this out. Two, you're not deportable, but perhaps it's bad moral character. You may not be eligible for citizenship. Or three, you got no problems. Full steam ahead. We don't know. I don't know.
The good moral character part, because I was doing a little bit of research for myself, and all of these charges been over 8 years.
Great. So as long as you're not a deportable alien, then I would say you got good moral character. But let's make sure you have no criminal convictions. You have 3 arrests and they were dismissed. Dating violence, by the way, if you were found guilty of dating violence, that would be considered domestic violence. That makes you deportable.
Yeah, because I look at it. Because when I look at it under the Florida statute law, they didn't really say dating violence. They say aggravated assault. That's what come up underneath dating violence.
All right. So you need a consultation more than anything else. Hold on one second. Let's go to Henry in Manhattan. Henry.
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I do hear you.
My question is, I'm an American citizen, and my wife is from Jamaica. My sister-in-law in Jamaica is willing to give up rights to her child. And we want to adopt that child. But when we looked at the information
How old's
on
the child?
I believe he's like 10.
All right. Where's the father of this child?
That's the other thing. The father is not active in his life, but he's willing to. I mean, we contacted him. He's willing to give up his rights as well.
Okay, now Henry, let me explain something to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the smartest thing in the world you just did was call the show, because it sounds like you are going on a process in Jamaica to go into a court in Jamaica and get consent from a mother and father to do an adoption. And if you did that, this kid would never come to America ever. You would have destroyed your hopes of bringing this child to America and having this child be yours and giving this child a good life. Because you can only bring orphans to America. You can't bring children that you adopted in another country unless you can prove that you lived in the same household with them and had legal guardianship of them for 2 years prior to the 16th birthday. So unless you lived in the
my
same
wife and I researched that and we saw that.
So good. So I'm glad you stopped. So let me tell you. So let me tell you what you need to do. Okay, you need to contact the Jamaican Child Adoption Board, and simultaneously you need to do what's called the pre-adoption. Here, you live in Manhattan, in New York County. The Jamaican Adoption Board, you're going to request them to not have consent by the mother or father to do an adoption, but in essence strip the parents of their parental rights, because the dad's, is a no good dad, and the mom can't obviously, or hopefully, or at least for the adoption purposes, can't afford to raise this child. So we want the government, the Jamaican government, to come in and say, you're lousy parents, you're stripped of your parental rights. Now the child's an orphan, because otherwise the child's not an orphan. And
if
then
they give up their rights
while
voluntarily,
you're doing that, while you're doing that, simultaneously you're going into Supreme Court here in New York, and you're saying to a judge in New York, I'm going to bring a child up from Jamaica to do an adoption here in New York. And what I'd like you to do is sign a piece of paper, an order saying that you're satisfied after social worker evaluations and background checks and blah, 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 that you would sign an adoption decree if I brought this child into America. And you get that pre-adoption done in New York while you're simultaneously stripping parents of their parental rights in Jamaica. And then you can file an orphan petition for this child to come up with a green card and do an adoption here. It is a big endeavor to do. I know you want to say your piece. It is a big endeavor.
What I was saying was
you need lawyers.
concerned.
You need lawyers. You need lawyers to do it for you.
All right. And how long does this process normally would take? How long do you think it would take?
A year or less.
Really?
Yeah. Hold on one second. Kelly in Hyattsville, Maryland. Kelly.
Hello, Brad. Good evening.
Good evening, Kelly. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good.
What's going on?
Yeah, good. My cousin have a problem with the wife. My cousin came here as a student with F1 status, but after 3 months, he dropped from school because he couldn't continue the tuition fee.
Who is this? Your wife's cousin?
No, my cousin.
Just your cousin. Okay.
Yeah.
And where's he from?
So, we're from Nigeria.
All right. So, in essence, your cousin came on a student visa. He stayed 3 months. He says, I can't afford school anymore. Stop going to school. Now what?
No, he can't go to school anymore.
Right. Now what?
So the girlfriend, they know each other from Nigeria before they came over here. So they decided to settle down. So they got married after he came on January 9th. Then they got married on March 8th. So they didn't file until September 2017. The wife filed for him.
One second. He came in January and they got married in March?
Yes.
When they came in January, what day in January did he come? He got married within less than 90 days of coming on a student visa?
Yes.
All right, so they're going to say misrepresentation.
So, but he didn't file until...
It's still misrepresentation because he never went to school.
Yeah, but he went to school, but he went like 2 months or something. Then
okay, so this is, you're telling me, okay? You're telling me, this is the story that you want to tell the government and you expect the government to believe. I'm on your side, by the way. But this is the story that you want the government to believe. Break it down. Let's break it down. I'm coming to school from Nigeria. I want to study, and when I'm done with my studies, I'm going to go home. Within 2 months of coming for my studies, I decide I'm not going to school anymore. 2 weeks later, I marry my girlfriend who I knew from Nigeria. And by the way, I had none of this was planned when I came here. They are going, if this magic 8-ball was the bullshit buzzer that I've asked for 2 years, I would be hitting bullshit if I was the U.S. government. There's no bullshit buzzer. We only have a magic 8-ball. So they're going to say misrepresentation, and you need a waiver. That's what's going to happen.
So, but they went for interview. The I-130 was approved.
Of course, because they believe it's a real marriage, but they would deny the adjustment because of misrepresentation. Or that's what's going to likely happen. And if they don't, good for you or good for them, lucky them. But I'm giving you my opinion. And then they need a waiver.
So somebody in this situation, because like I told you, the wife, both of them have a problem. Both of them started having problem because of the mother-in-law, who doesn't support the marriage because the guy has no papers.
So, well, the guy has papers now because he has a work permit, but now he's got a bigger problem because if the wife's mother is breaking them up, he's going to be put at deportation, and he made misrepresentations. He's got all sorts of problems. So he's got to bring flowers home to his wife and say, hey, baby, I'm important too here. This is Uncle Brad being marriage counselor now. Right. Hold on one second. Kelly needs help. I don't even know if it's Kelly if it's his cousin, or do you believe it's Kelly?
I believe what he says.
I say it's Kelly's issue, not the cousin, but what do I know? Let's go to Ashley in Greer, South Carolina. Ashley.
Oh, I'm here.
How are you, Ashley?
I'm well. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
Okay, so I have a quick question.
Yes.
I had got my green card in April 2013.
Yes.
And this past August, I was charged with a DUI. I haven't been convicted yet. I still haven't gotten a court date.
Okay.
So I'm wondering, what are the odds if I am convicted, and I apply for citizenship, if I would get it. This is the only thing I have on my record. I don't have anything else.
Well, first of all, your first concern is you got to make sure you're not, whether before you become a citizen, you got to make sure you're not pleading guilty to a deportable offense. Because if you plead guilty to a deportable offense, then you got another ball of wax going on here. Assuming it's a straight DUI, the Trump administration has said DUI, although not deportable, indicates bad moral character. So from assuming you're not a deportable alien, but the DUI, you are pleading guilty to a DUI, which is different than a DWI, that would show bad moral character. You would have to wait till the completion of whatever sentence you have. You're married to a U.S. citizen, 3 years of a bona fide marriage beyond that with good moral character before you file for your citizenship.
Okay. Whew.
What I would suggest, Ashley.
It's still going on in court.
Ashley.
I haven't gotten the court date yet.
Okay, Ashley, this is my advice to you. Obviously, you fight it out to the best of your ability. Like anybody else, everyone has a right to fight it out. If it comes to a point where your attorney says, or the judge says to you, you're going to plead guilty to X, Y, Z, what you are going to do is you're going to put your hand up and say, Judge, or Mr. Attorney, or Mrs. Attorney, or Ms. Attorney, I need to speak to an immigration attorney before I do anything. I got to make sure what my consequences are. And then at that point, when you get your best deal, you see what your immigration consequences are, and then you figure it out from there.
Okay.
All right?
Okay.
All right. Sorry about that.
Thank
I know
you
it's frustrating.
so much.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I think she was hoping for a different response.
Yeah, well, I can only say it as it is, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, Spar Bernstein trial attorney David Moreno, who, by the way, congratulations to David Moreno today.
Why?
He just won a trial in
Oh,
Nassau County.
great. Congrats,
He's
David.
a trial attorney. He just won. He's going to be talking about criminal defense, but he just did win today. That's right. Thank you, Julian. He just did win today a trial in Nassau County where a police officer, I'll tell you the quick story.
Nassau County.
Yeah, Nassau County. You familiar with that area?
Yep.
Okay. So for those who are not familiar with that area, Vanessa, tell them all about
Long
Nassau
Island.
County. What type of person would be on the jury? You see the people walk through. Vanessa has other positions other than being here. What type of person, Vanessa, would be on would be on a county, would be on a and you could be honest. All right, I don't want you.
How transparent do I get to be?
Don't pull any punches.
No, of course
not. What kind
not.
of person would you expect to be on a jury in Nassau County? And then I will tell you that the rabbit that Mr. Moreno pulled out of his hat today.
One word, very opinionated.
Okay, what would be the
Keeping
background?
it vague and generic,
What
right?
would be the background? Nassau County is known as a suburban, white, wealthy,
Very
Republican,
high class
Republican county. So the jury.
There's a lot of wealth in Nassau
right,
County.
the jury that you would typically get in Nassau County would be a wealthy, white, suburbanite, Republican, police supporting.
I like that Brad said it instead of me.
Police supporting.
What Brad said.
Trump pumpkin eater.
Right.
So, Mr. Moreno has one of our clients from the West Indies who doesn't typically look like a typical Nassau County resident.
Nope.
And he's riding his bike down the street, and a cop pulls over somebody for speeding or running a red light or whatever he was doing. He's pulling over a driver for doing something wrong, an infraction. And the cop pulls him over with the lights, woo, 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 woo. And he opens up the door. And as he opens up the door, our guy goes flying over the door with his bicycle and has some bumps and bruises, a couple of, not even a herniation. Okay, not even a herniation. But, goes for therapy, his back hurts and blah, 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 soft tissue stuff. Nassau County won't settle. Not for a penny. Says our guy's not hurt and our cops never do anything wrong. Ever. Just like never.
ever
do anything wrong.
But Mr. Moreno.
But Mr. Moreno went to trial today and got the cop lying. In his summary, he told me in his summary, he says, we can't even believe that what this cop's name, if he even told us his real name, because he's lied about everything. Wow. I don't even believe his real name.
Wow.
And came back with, for a guy who had just a couple of bumps and bruises, you know, he would have been happy if he got 10 grand. Got $70,000 for him. And the judge, and this is Nassau County.
Yeah.
And the judge says to David Moreno after, he goes, we don't even get $70,000 for broken bones. We get like $25,000 for broken bones. I don't know how you got 70.
Right. Well, you lied.
So he is a fantastic trial attorney, and obviously prior successful results don't guarantee some outcome. But he also handles criminal defense and personal injury cases here. So I spoke with him about a recent case in which he exonerated a client facing an aggravated felony, years in prison, and ultimate deportation. All right, this guy was looking at years in prison. But David diligently researched and worked to find the evidence that ultimately proved his innocence. Let's watch. David Moreno is our fabulous criminal defense attorney here at Spar Bernstein. He's a former Manhattan district attorney. He's been named the National Black Lawyers Top 40 Under 40, Top 10 Lawyers Under the Age of 40 for 2016, Top 100 Trial Attorneys, and not only that, he has just been named as the Expert Network Distinguished Lawyer, as well as a super lawyer. Recently, we had saw an Avvo review posted by this guy, Jerry. He wrote, Mr. Moreno proved my innocence and gave me back my life. I had intercourse with a woman who wanted more than one encounter, and when I told her that would have been the last time we would be involved, she then lied on me saying I assaulted her. I was arrested and lost my job in the process after paying another law firm who did not do much to help me. That particular lawyer wanted me to take a plea deal for a crime I did not commit. I heard about Spar Bernstein on a radio station and called for a consult. I decided to try Spar Bernstein, and I met with Mr. Moreno, who worked on my case. Mr. Moreno was honest throughout the case, made himself available when I needed to speak to him. His office is very knowledgeable, organized, and professional. I would recommend him to anyone who needs his legal advice. So, David, this was a rape charge, right, that this guy said the woman made it up, he didn't do it, he didn't want to take a plea deal. What were the facts of this case?
This is a case where both of the parties were known to one another. There was a pre-existing sexual relationship. Our client was from Jamaica. The accuser in this case was also from Jamaica. They had prior sexual relationship back in Jamaica some years ago and continued this relationship when they got in the United States. My client at the time, Jerry, was involved with another woman and decided to break things off with the accuser. And as a result, the accuser went to the police and said that he forcibly raped her.
So how many years was he looking at?
Well, rape in the first degree in New York County, depending on what your record is, if it's your first offense, the range is anywhere from 5 years to 25 years in state prison.
How old was this case?
This case had been pending for over 1.5 years before we took it over.
So now when your client comes to you, what was his emotional state like?
He was a wreck. He felt like, to me, he told me, you know, in no uncertain words, that his back was against the wall. He felt hopeless. His previous attorney, all he cared about was pushing the plea on this guy. Now, we have a client who not only is facing serious prison time, but also he's looking at being deported from the country that he lives in.
You're a former district attorney, so you were presented with these cases all the time. What process is the district attorney's office going through? What process are the detectives going through to determine whether she's making a credible claim or not? Before we even get to, I believed my client that she was lying on him.
Absolutely. The position that law enforcement, the police officers, the detectives, the DA's office is in whenever there's a domestic violence claim or a rape allegation is a very, very tenuous one, in that, you know, you don't always know what to believe, but when someone is making an allegation like this, you have to take it seriously. The standard procedure is to gather as much information from the victim as you can. If there are hospital records, you obviously get the hospital records. If there's video surveillance, you obviously get the video surveillance. If there are other witnesses, either after the fact or before the fact, that see, you know, observe what happened just before, whether they're at a bar and they're in a house, or, you know, the victim ran out and someone saw her running out, or she had visible injuries. You want to make sure you preserve all that stuff, so that way you have a strong case moving forward.
You now have to convince perhaps a jury, perhaps a judge, certainly the prosecutor, that we got a good case here. Now, what did you do as a defense attorney?
I'd be remiss if I didn't say that obviously handling these kind of cases is sometimes conflicting, right? You want to make sure, especially as a defense attorney, that you do things that are consistent with your value system, correct?
Right.
With this client, I didn't just take his word, as gospel. I did my own independent investigation. Oftentimes, a resource I would use in a case like this would be hiring an investigator. In this situation, the client didn't have the money needed to hire an investigator, so I actually went out and I spoke to some of the witnesses and the family that were around.
So now there is no witnesses who actually were in the bedroom while this happened. So what would they have to say because they weren't physically there?
Several things. One, a friend of the victim spoke to the victim, the alleged victim, right after the incident happened, and she was reluctant to speak to me. But in scouring through her Facebook page, there were comments on both the public walls of the alleged victim and this friend kind of talking about the encounter with my client. And then there were also posts on the walls, not in a private message, about how she's so upset that he's not going to be with her anymore and how she's going to make him pay. And actually this friend posted stuff like, please don't do anything stupid. And even after, my client was arrested, there were more posts from the friend saying, why would you do that to this man?
And what was the victim's response to all of this on Facebook, at least?
Well, her response on Facebook was just like, he's getting what he deserves. Consistently, he's getting what he deserves. The DA was unaware of all of this Facebook stuff.
The DA didn't look at their social media?
I don't know if they did and they didn't disclose it. Now, there's a case, a seminal case in criminal defense called Brady. Now, if the district attorney's office would have viewed these messages on Facebook, right, and saw that the messages would be something that would be favorable to us, they're under full duty to disclose this to us, right? So I would assume that if they saw those messages, they would have disclosed them because they're under a duty to do so. In any event, they didn't. I disclosed them to the prosecutor, and I asked the prosecutor, I said, look, I know you spoke to your victim. Again, I came on the case at the 25th hour. The case was already primed for trial.
Ready to go to trial.
It was on the trial calendar.
His former attorney was having him plea deal to what would ended up being an aggravated felony and getting him deported for life.
Correct. They wanted him to take a 10-year prison sentence.
Right.
I told the prosecutor, I said, before we try this case, I have no problem trying this case. No problem. I'll try this case right now. But if you don't want to waste your time and mine, you should take a look at this stuff. She took a look at it. Then she brought my client in. She spoke to him, got his side of the story, which you don't always get a chance to do. 99% of cases, you would never hear from a defendant. Okay, you would never hear from a defendant. In this situation, because I had stuff that corroborated his version of events, from the stuff that was very public that came out of the alleged victim's mouth, from witnesses to the actions after the fact, to even text messages between the victim and my client that sort of were consistent with my client's version of events. But I would say what was most persuasive to the DA was, once I pointed her to specific messages, and I can't get to the content of those messages, she was able to go back to the alleged victim and ask her direct pointed questions. And after asking those questions, the victim actually said, I don't want to go forward anymore. I'm sorry I did this. She apologized to the government, which is not okay, which is not enough. My client was arrested. He spent time in jail, but she actually recanted.
Wow. Does she get in trouble for what could possibly be a false accusation?
She can.
Did the DA's office do anything about that?
No, she didn't. And there were a number of reasons why. I think part of the decision-making process from the government was that the alleged victim had been through other things in her life that were troubling. So I don't want to say they gave her a pass. Obviously what she did was wrong, but I don't think it would have furthered justice, to lock this woman up because she was troubled. She was a troubled woman.
So, in the end, your client went from being offered 10 years in jail and a straight airplane ride back to Jamaica for life as an aggravated felon to living in America, and she dropped the charges. Fantastic job. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. All right, so, and by the way, if you didn't get your immigration questions answered, we're going to get to social media check-in in about a minute. But before that, I just want to remind everybody where you're watching Brad Show Live. You're watching it on YouTube at Brad Show Live. You're watching it on Facebook at Brad Show Live. You're also watching it live on Instagram right now at Brad Show Live 2. You can watch it on any one of the three platforms. We'll be live almost every day, sometime around 5:30, closer to 6. Brad Show Live time is somewhere 5:30 to 6, somewhere in that range. And, of course, if you don't get your immigration questions answered, You can follow me at Real Brad Bernstein. If I know who you are, you make some comments. You're part of the Brad Show squad. You're in the Brad Show house, the Brad Show zone.
Yep.
Maybe if I'm nice enough and I know you and I have some time, I'll try to answer all your immigration questions. And we're live right now, by the way, on Instagram at Brad Show Live. And Vanessa Contreras and Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias, if you have any social media handles you would like to announce, now's your time to do it.
Oh, yeah. Alrighty. So my Instagram is at Vanessa.Contreras TV.
And mine is at Yonathan Elias TV.
All right. So let's do something, Julian, we like to call social media check-in.
Alrighty. So when folks aren't sliding into Brad's DM,
They're sliding everywhere, right? They're slipping and sliding everywhere.
They're slipping and sliding on Facebook
Yes.
and YouTube. We're gonna get right to it. Social media check-in from Facebook. I have Kofi Yankson asks, "Hello, Brad. How can I apply? Can I apply for a VAWA file while my I-130 and I-485 application is still pending to be called for interview?"
Absolutely.
Okay, Barbie's saying, I recently sent in my papers. I'm filing for a green card. I sent in the I-130, I-130A, adjustment of status, etc. March 19th. Will be 5 years that my husband had his green card. I did my biometrics there and got my receipt saying USCIS needs proof that he's a citizen in order to continue my filing process. So now I wasn't trying to prove he was a citizen. I got married to him 2018 of September 18th. I came March 3rd, 2018 on visitor's visa and didn't go back to Jamaica. They said that I had 87 days to reply with the correct information. So what should I do? I went to see a lawyer.
If she overstayed her time, she can't adjust until he's a citizen.
Okay.
If she didn't overstay her time, then she replies and says, "I didn't overstay my time. I was in legal status when I adjusted."
So the lawyer said that he said that they should have only sent in the I-130 and that he will have to withdraw the case.
Then it sounds like she overstayed her time when she filed the adjustment. You got to wait on your husband has to become a citizen and then adjust.
Alrighty, I just want to ask, how can I contact my UCS? How can I contact the UCSC since the last time I checked, they need more evidence and my lawyer doesn't want to tell me what he hasn't sent for VAWA. I have a I-360 in process, but it's already over the time processing.
If your lawyer doesn't tell you, you are the captain of the boat, you tell your lawyer, "I want a copy of my entire file," and go to a lawyer who is going to communicate with you.
Awesome. All right, next one is from Raul from Houston, Texas, a U.S. citizen adjusting the wife's status I-485. The question is, we got approval notice on EAD and AP based on adjustment of status on December 5th in the mail after being approved for both on December 2nd. However, the next day on December 6th, we got an EAD card with no AP reference on it. It says not valid for re-entry to the U.S. Will our advanced parole come after, or is it supposed to be a combo card? She needs to fly back home to see her sick mother.
Well, it's usually a combo card, but maybe it's going to come separately. If it doesn't come in the mail in another week or two, then go down to immigration and say, "I have this approval. I got a work permit without the combo card. Give me something to travel." They'll give it to you at the local office.
Okay, I have a praise as well as a question from Jeremy.
I like praise.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for all the information your show has to put out there. It has given immigrants a sense of confidence and security to know their rights. As they say, knowledge is power, having the greatest of all. Thanks again. My question is, what are the steps to be taken after being married to obtain a permanent resident card and work permit along with the social security number? What are the types of documentation needed to be filed?
When you file your marriage case, what you need to do is file all of the relationship documents, the marriage, divorces, birth certificates, proof of the status of your spouse who is a citizen, assuming, and copies of your passport and entry to show that you made a legal entry into America. You also need to submit an affidavit of support, which is the I-864, 3 years tax returns, job letter, bank letter. You don't need to do your medical. You bring it to the time of the interview. At the time of the interview, you're going to need to bring proof that you are in a bona fide marriage. Bona fide marriage, according to the government, is you physically live together, you have a financial relationship. So all the proof you live together, all the proof you have a financial relationship with your spouse.
All right, Thais saying, I have a question and I'd love the answer to it, thankful. I had my interview on November 21st, 2019. My status still stuck on interview was scheduled. And I have no criminal records, but I overstayed my visa and work illegally. I'd like to go visit my family for 1 month using my advanced parole. Will it be a problem if leaving the U.S. using AP while waiting for an interview?
No, you can, as long as you have a pending adjustment, go travel on your advanced parole.
Okay, I have one here. It says, "Hi, Brad and team. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. My bad for not providing full info on my question. I had applied on an EB-1 extraordinary sportsman visa, which was filed on January 2019 and received by the USCIS on January." Okay, so he sent it out January 7th. They received it January 8th and was approved on the 12th of January 2019.
He must be a very good athlete.
Yeah.
Who do you think, what kind of athlete do you think he is?
Maybe he'll tell us.
He's extraordinary, we know that.
Yeah.
Got approved very quick.
Now
he is some athlete.
Now the problem is my daughter turned 21 on January 8th and my preparatory date is also January 8th, 2020. We have already received visa number of me and my wife and my son and have already paid the NVC, but still waiting for my daughter's decision. Will she be eligible under my visa? What should I do? Please help me out. You guys have a wonderful Christmas.
Give me the dates again.
All right, so his
visa,
January 7th, received by the UCIS on January 8th and was approved on the 12th.
And when did the daughter turn 21?
And his daughter turned 21 October 8th, the day it was received.
Wait, I thought it was filed on January.
The day that the USCIS, it was received.
Days.
Yep.
But when the daughter turned 21 in October? I'm confused.
No, in January 8th.
Oh, then the daughter's out, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You should have filed before your daughter was 21, unfortunately.
Okay, Le Magnifique saying this regarding a question about birth certificates. So I realized my birth certificate has my father, who is a U.S. citizen, who filed for me first name spelled incorrectly. At NVC now, I'm not sure if it will affect anything.
What was spelled incorrectly?
The father's first name, the U.S. citizen's father's.
You could always correct that later down.
All right, Elizabeth Glauco asks, which is better to file the adjustment of status here from the tourist visa to student visa or go back to your country and process it there?
Depends what you want to do. You're not getting a visa here. You're changing your status from a visitor to a student status. So if you need to travel outside the U.S., you still need to go to your home country first, get a visa to come back. Or you can just go back and get your visa. But if you're concerned you're going to be denied back home, then do it here.
All right, Faith saying, how long does it take to get an interview after biometrics if your case status says it's ready to be scheduled for an interview?
I don't know. 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months?
All right.
Only the Magic 8 Ball knows that.
Last one from Nick So Special. I'm a permanent resident filing for my kids here with me. I filed the I-130 first for them. Do I need to do the I-485 and how long do I have to wait for their green card?
You need to file separate adjustments for each child. How's that for an answer?
There's
there we go.
All right, so a guy by the name of Yonathan Yo-Yo Elias.
Hey, that's me.
Went out on the street to play a game we called Brad-y-mology.
Yes.
I wonder where we got Brad-y-mology from. Where would we come up with
that
a
your
name?
creative idea, Yo-Yo?
I mean, who would come up with such a silly name of Bradamology game?
Is it silly?
It sounds a little silly.
Let's watch it and find out.
Let's watch and find out how people thought of Bradamology game that Yonathan played with them on the street.
What's up, Brad Squad? It's your boy, Yonathan Elias in the streets of New York. All right, did you know that there are some words, very common words that you use every day with roots from all over the world? Well, if you didn't, play along with us. We're going to test some people and also test you with a game we love to play and call Bradamology. Let's go. You ready to play Bradamology? You look pretty smart.
I'm ready.
Now, karaoke, is it Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, or Filipino?
Japanese.
Is it Japanese, Chinese, Spanish, or Filipino?
Doesn't sound Spanish. I'm gonna go with Japanese.
Where are you guys from?
The Philippines.
Philippines in the building.
I think Japanese.
Filipino. It is Japanese. You guys do karaoke?
I think all Filipinos do.
Karaoke is Japanese. It means empty orchestra. It comes all the way back from 1970 when a little drummer boy was frequently asked by guests to play music that they can sing along to. I actually love karaoke. I can't really sing, but I like to sing it. Now, gung-ho. Is it Old English, Punjab, Chinese, or Turkish?
Punjab. Turkish.
Now, gung-ho. Is it Old English, Punjab, Chinese, or Turkish?
Chinese.
Gung-ho. Is it Old English, Punjab, Chinese, or Turkish?
A lot of options. Chinese.
Yeah, look at that, with ease. Gung-ho is Chinese for work together, but of course in English we have to change things, and it means excited or enthusiastic. Moped, Swedish, Danish, Japanese, or Vietnamese?
Swedish, Danish, Japanese. Danish.
All right, now moped. You guys know what a moped is, right? Exactly. Is it Swedish, Danish, Japanese, or Vietnamese?
I think Danish. Swedish.
Now moped. Is it Vietnamese, Japanese, Danish, or Swedish?
Swedish.
Yeah, have you ever ridden a moped?
I've never ridden a moped.
I haven't either. They look a little dangerous. Moped is Swedish. It means motor and peddler, just like in the English language where it means motor and pedals. Now, lingerie. Now, is it French, Italian, Latin, or Greek?
I would say French. Latin.
French, Italian, Latin, or Greek?
French.
Lingerie. Do you wear lingerie?
Only on the weekends.
French, Italian, Latin, or Greek?
I think that one's French.
There you go. I know it's kind of sexy. French is just very sexy.
Yeah, you know, they know what they're doing.
Exactly. Lingerie is French for underwear for either sex. But of course in English we gotta change it to a little bit more of a provocative meaning, if you know what I mean. One of my favorite foods, bagels. Is it Yiddish, Russian, Polish, Ukrainian?
Gotta be Yiddish.
I think it's Polish. Russian?
Bagel. Is it Yiddish, Russian, Polish, or Ukrainian?
Yiddish.
Nice. What's your favorite bagel?
Everything.
Everything bagel? Me too. Kind of look alike.
Kind of look alike. There's a striking physical resemblance.
Bagel is Yiddish, and it means big, ring, heart-shaped bread roll. Now, Taekwondo, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, or Thai?
I feel like Thai is the trick answer. We've done Chinese, done Japanese. Korea.
Taekwondo. Is it Japanese, Chinese, Korean, or Thai?
I know this one. I think it's Korean. Chinese.
Taekwondo, Japanese, Chinese, Korean, or Thai?
Korean.
Taekwondo is Korean, meaning fist, kick, art. But in English, it is a type of martial arts. Hi-ya! Renaissance, German, Latin, Italian, or French?
French?
All right, Renaissance, German, Latin, Italian, or French?
It's French.
Italian.
Renaissance is French and means rebirth. And in English, we usually use it to describe the Renaissance period between 1300 and 1600 in Europe. Toboggan. Is it Native American, French, Norwegian, or Dutch?
One of these is not like the others. Native American.
Norwegian.
Last but not least, toboggan. Is it Native American, French, Norwegian, or Dutch?
Native American.
Woo! This girl right here. Good job, Georgia. Toboggan is Native American. It comes from the Algonquin tribe, means drag made of skin. And depending on where in the U.S. you are, it can also mean a long, flat bottom sled or a winter hat. You guys passed, though. You guys did amazing. See, but this teaches you that a lot of words that we use every day comes from different places, right?
Very interesting.
All right, there you have it, Brad Squad. Another successful game of Bradamology. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and I wonder how many of you guys got right. let's go back to the studio.
All right. Speed round. I did all my stretching already. We're going to answer 10 immigration questions in 60 seconds. The last few days, we have blown up the studio.
Oh no.
We have not.
Can't blow it
we
up
have
today.
not won in a while.
We gotta win tonight.
We gotta win tonight. Or my name isn't Uncle Brad.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. We're gonna call it.
clock?
Call me Fried Brad soon. I keep blowing this place up, right? All right. Okay, we're gonna go to that lawyer, Fried Brad.
You're right.
Fried keeps toasting up that studio.
So what are we doing? 10 and how many
10
seconds?
and 60 seconds.
Okay.
60 seconds.
You ready?
Alrighty, yo-yo.
Go.
Shanette says, what evidence does a joint sponsor need to submit with the affidavit?
Tax returns, job letter, bank letter.
By no asks, what an immigration officer call an applicant? What number do they normally call from?
They call from the USCIS, a government number.
Do I need to file a separate I-485 for my children under 21 years old?
Yes.
I'm pregnant. Due date is in October. Can my spouse come for that reason with a tourist visa?
Unlikely.
Tara says, how long does it take USCIS to review a request for additional evidence?
120 days is the law.
King's TV asks, what does initial or evidence mean on I-485?
It means you didn't file the papers properly. They want more documents to get the application going.
Don asks, is getting arrested for driving on suspended license a CIMT?
Could be, depending on what state.
Elaine Brown asks, I reviewed my green card 2017. When can I get citizenship and what do I need?
5 years from the time you get your green card, 3 years in a bona fide marriage. Yeah.
What's the right amount for a sponsor to have for 3 persons?
Oh. Look at Toasty. Look at Toasty.
Fried bread. I can't even move my face right now. The steam is burning my face.
We just needed 2 more. All right, let me give you the 2. All right. What's the right amount for a sponsor to have for 3 persons, man, wife, and child?
125% above the poverty level.
And I knew that.
And after your biometric, what else do you need to do?
Wait for a green card interview.
There you go.
All right. Woo!
Well, you're burning up, Brad. You're burning up this week. You're on fire.
Right. Comments of the day, Yonathan and Vanessa. Let's hear what they are.
All right, our first comment of the day comes from 29 Super C, and this is about the Lionel Richie cologne.
Okay.
All right, saying perhaps Yonathan should have a fragrance called Yo-Yo. Ooh, I like
You
that.
have to get together with your creative team and work something out.
That.
By the way, that the Yo-Yo cologne can sponsor the It's Yo-Yo show following Bradshaw Live.
There you go.
We were going to have a spin-off, It's Yo-Yo.
Right.
It's Yo-Yo After Dark.
We have no idea what the show is about. We just love the name.
Yeah.
It's Yo-Yo.
It's a work in progress.
It's a work in progress.
I'm with it. I'm with it. We can make this happen.
All right.
Alrighty, squad. So from Jackie Harris, she says, I got a notification and yelled, oh my God, my show is on. My husband asked, Lovin' Hip Hop? I said, no, it's Brad.
Yeah.
It's not Lovin' Hip Hop has been replaced
Right.
by Bradshaw Live now.
Even better.
I like that. I like that. All right, our third comment of the day comes from Elizabeth Francis saying, Uncle Brad, your show is real therapy. It relieves all my immigration stress.
All right, thank you. That's very nice. Thank you.
Okie doke. And to wrap up our comments of the day, coming from Donna Bless, Uncle Brad, you know what I love about you? You laugh and smile a lot.
Thank you. We try, right?
That's sweet.
Because you want to know why? Because if you cry, it's not going to make you any better. So you might as well be happy, enjoy life. You're breathing. You know what? Tomorrow, if you have a problem today, you'll figure it out tomorrow. There's ups and downs in life. Life's a roller coaster, but enjoy every minute you're here. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here. It's bad enough I've got to remember everything that happened on the episode from the previous day.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And now, conveniently located in Hartford, Connecticut on 1 Congress Street. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAWLINK. 1-800-529-5465.